Hi guys. Well, there have been many good racing games over the years, ranging from arcade-style games to sims. And we all know some of them: Gran Turismo, Project Gotham Racing, Forza, Outrun, you name it, there's hundreds of the things. And many of them have been terrific games and we've all had a lot of fun with them. But the game I want to talk about today holds a special place for many people, and it certainly does for me. And you all know which one I'm going to be talking about, and that's Burnout. Now, the first Burnout game appeared in 2001, and the last one that we had was Burnout Paradise, and that came out in 2008. In between times, we had Burnout 2 Point of Impact in 2002, Burnout 3 Takedown in 2004, and Burnout Revenge in 2005. Now, obviously, you guys are going to have your favourites amongst those, and if we start from the beginning, the first one, well, I have to say, I didn't actually play the first Burnout, so I can't actually speak on that one. I began playing Burnout with Burnout 2 Point of Impact, and that was a particularly great game. I loved it. It was terrific fun, and I played it on the original Xbox. It was also available on the PS2 and on the GameCube. And then we got Burnout 3 Takedown, which added a few things, and in many respects that's my favourite version of Burnout. It had a kind of esports thing going on with a guy doing a radio show and talking to you about all the events that were available, and you had the crash events and you had ordinary races, and then you had challenges where you had to take on a single driver in traffic to try and win their car. These were pretty much staples of the series by this time, but they were honed in Takedown, and as I say, that's where the sweet spot is for me within the series. And then I think it started losing its focus a little bit. With Revenge, we had the situation where you had traffic checking, or I can't remember exactly what they called it. I think it was checking traffic. And with the check-in traffic, you could drive up behind cars and bump into them and cause them to swerve all across the road. And you could use that to take out opposing drivers and so on and so forth. And that was fun, but I preferred it when you had to kind of weave in and out of the traffic more. And I thought that was a bit harder and a bit more enjoyable for me personally. And obviously you guys may have a different opinion on that, but that's my take on it. And then I felt that with Burnout Paradise, it kind of really lost its way because it was an open world game, and to be honest, I spent more time driving around trying to work out where the hell I was going than I did actually racing or crashing or doing all the things that I really enjoyed in the game. And if you spend your time not doing the best things in the game, then that becomes problematical. And so I do think that Burnout Paradise, for me at least, is the weakest in the series, even while it was a great looking game and there was an awful lot to do in it. But as I say, it lost its way a little bit. But that brings me up to date. And as I say, 2008 was when that game came out, and we haven't had a Burnout game since then. And we've had other games that have tried to do similar things. You've got the Need for Speed games, which try to do similar stuff, but they've got a slightly different niche. Burnout's more in line with the games that came out before it, 1991's Road Rash, or even Carmageddon that came out in 1997. They're more what Burnout was like. So Burnout had this particular niche that it filled, and there's never been a game like it since. And I would love to see EA, because EA are the publishers, I would love to see them bring out a new version of Burnout. They took over the Burnout games with Burnout 3 Takedown. Acclaim had it prior to that. And since they've had it, as I say, I think it's kind of lost its way a little bit. And then ultimately it's disappeared from sight. What I would love EA to do is I would love them to get hold of Takedown and either do a remaster of it. Ideally, I'd prefer not to have a remaster. Or I'd love to see them take that format, take that idea and build on it. Make it bigger, make it better, make the cars faster, make the maps bigger. They could have so much in a game like this. And at the end of the day, this is a game that you can sit around with your friends and your family and you can have an absolute blast. I remember sitting around with a friend of mine who actually lives in Ukraine, and she'd come over to visit for the summer, and we sat around playing Burnout Takedown. And my mum was with us as well. And my poor friend was getting so into the game and getting so frustrated with it that she was swearing her head off. And My mum was raising an eyebrow at her, and well, my mum wasn't exactly naive, but it was quite an interesting dynamic. And my poor friend kept apologising, but she couldn't help herself. She was being drawn into this game so much, and she's not a game player. But, you know, there are more hardcore gamers out there, if that's what you want to call them, people who play games more. People like me who aren't, I wouldn't describe myself as a hardcore gamer, quite the opposite. I refuse to be described as a hardcore gamer, but I loved the Burnout games. And as I say, there was a sort of diminishing return with them. And I thought Paradise was a nice idea, but it didn't really cut it for me. And I'd love them to focus back in on that version of the game that was really exciting and really engrossing and great fun. We've lost our way a little bit in gaming with the idea of fun. Everybody's so bloody po-faced these days in gaming. You know, everybody talks about graphics and all the detail and all these different things, and very little time is spent talking about fun. Games should be fun, and the Burnout games were, to a greater or lesser degree, enormous fun. So come on, EA, I did this with Fight Night and I'm doing it with Burnout. Please, give us a new Burnout game. There's loads of us out here who would pay good money for this game. We really want to see a new Burnout game. And, you know, I for one, I'd be lining up to buy it. As long as it was a decent game and it had the spirit of the originals, I'd happily play a new Burnout game. And I know I'm not the only one out there. There's plenty of people out there. If you go on the forums and you know, you go on the internet, you'll see that there's plenty of people out there who would love to play this game. So come on, EA. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science, and you would make money. So give us a Burnout game. Please. I'm asking, I'm begging you. Give us a Burnout game. All right, as is usual, give us a like, give us a dislike if you hate what I've just said here and you think Burnout was a load of old rubbish. But, you know, if you like it, give us a like. If you want to get involved in the comments, come on, wade in there and tell me what you think. Tell me what's your favourite Burnout game. Did you like the Burnout games at all? And if you don't, let us know why. And I will speak to you guys again soon. Bye.